Peace and riches blessings. I am Michael B. Beckwith, the host of Take Back Your Mind. Dynamic blessings, and welcome today to Take Back Your Mind Life Question of the Week. Many people are tuning in to the Take Back Your Mind podcast. Absolutely appreciate that. Many of you have subscribed and you're liking it. Thank you. And now so many of you are now tuning into the Take Back Your Mind Life Question of the Week podcast. Again, subscribe and like, and perhaps, if you desire, send in the question. Now, this question comes from Anne. And Anne is asking a question that probably touches everybody sometime in their life according to their own unique experience. She says, after caring for my father in the final years of his life, he passed away last year. It was very hard to see him in pain, discouraged, and depressed. Less than 2 months after he passed, my sister passed away unexpectedly. Those two losses hit my mother extremely hard, and now her health has significantly deteriorated. My sister and I are caring for her, but all the loss, the change, and the grief have taken their toll on me, and now I feel anxious and depressed. Life feels much more fragile to me. And I'm starting to feel paralyzed with fear. Something will happen to my children next. How can I move out of this? Anne is asking a question that touches all of us. It may not be these exact circumstances, but there are people in our life, loved ones, friends, associates, that are making their transition or close to it, or we will experience that. So this is a kind of a universal question that she has made very specific for her. So as I reach out to you, Anne, I'm reaching into a deep sense of compassion for what you're going through. You're going through an intense initiation of release and letting go to the presence of peace and of love and of harmony that's seeking to walk with you during this particular experience. So when you talk about life seems fragile to you right now, we want to maintain that awareness. Life is fragile. We don't know what tomorrow holds. For anybody, friend, associate, business associate, someone we work with at work or whatever, the human incarnation is fragile. And we're always connected to people who may leave. They may make their transition. And if you check it out, it doesn't fit with age. You know, we used to have a romantic vision that, you know, the people that come under siege of illness or sickness, oh, they're going to be in their 80s or 90s. And now it happens all across the board. People are passing away. So we want to maintain, not fear, not worry, but we want to maintain the sense of the fragileness of the human incarnation so that we're bringing forth our best step into love, patience, compassion, generosity, connection with each other while we have a body. That's one. 2, you're going through an initiation here where your family is concerned, your sister and your dad. So one thing that you want to begin to do, you want to begin to harvest your mind to begin to remember all of the beautiful moments that you had with either one of these beings. I have a saying that was often quoted by my friend Bob Proctor, who made his transition a couple of years ago. And that question is, when something is ending, a relationship, someone has passed away, there's something that happens in life that you can't really control. One, you quickly move into what is called total acceptance. You accept what is. The relationship has changed. Someone has transitioned, they're not coming back. Something has changed in your life forever and it's never going to be the same. instead of doing wishful thinking, I wish I would have, could have, should have, I wish I would have been closer, I wish I'd have done this, that, and the other. Total acceptance. This is what is. Secondly, you harvest the good. What good came out of this relationship? What great moments did I have with my sister? What great moments did I have with my dad? You begin to harvest that. That begins to be a part of your memory. Not just, oh, they're gone. The relationship is over. But what good happened? Thirdly, you forgive everything else. You forgive yourself. You forgive anyone that you're connected with. So that you're living in what is. You're living in harvesting the good, and you're forgiving everything else. And where death is concerned, in the mystical, metaphysical tradition, we call it transition. An individual is transitioning from the visible to the invisible, because life is eternal. There's no such thing as death in the spiritual realm. People continue to live. They just don't have a physical body, but they're still alive because they are the light that lights up every being that comes to the planet. That's their true identity. So what you begin to do is, as you're going through your grieving process, you're missing them. You're going through the acceptance phase. You're going through harvesting the good phase. You're going through your grieving stage. At a certain point, could be after 30 or 40 days, you say to yourself, what is it that I can do to honor the incarnation of my dad? Or what is it that I can do to honor the incarnation of my sister? What project can I do that's dedicated to them? Why is that important? Everything is energy. Grief is energy. Anger is energy. Everything is energy, you see. What happens is, if you say, in honor of my dad, I'm just making this up. This may not be appropriate, fit you, but you have to find your own thing. In honor of my dad, every month I am going to go and serve food to the homeless at the shelter. Or in honor of my sister, I'm going to do a project that's going to make the world better, but I'm going to do it in honor of my sister. So you're taking the grieving energy and you're putting it into a project so that energy gets to be transmuted, doesn't get stuck just in anger, doesn't get stuck in grief. It doesn't get stuck in, oh my God, I hope something doesn't happen to my kids and all this anxiety. That energy is being transmuted into something bigger than yourself. And then what happens is you start to live for a higher purpose, a bigger reason. You don't deny the energy, but the energy is now being transmuted, because energy is never created or destroyed. It just transmutes itself. So it can transmute itself into more anxiety, more anxiousness, more fear, or it can be transmuted into a higher frequency of generosity, compassion, sacred service. So that is how you ask the question, how can I move out of this? Right now, you are in it. But that energy is actually in your field of awareness. It is in you. So you go through the 3 stages. Accept what is, harvest the good. Those are the memories. And 3, forgive everything, even yourself. And then 4, after a period of time, find a project worthy of your sister or your dad. You can even combine it. I'm doing this in memory of my father, and I'm doing this in memory of my sister, so that the energy is flowing into the project. It doesn't have to be a big monumental project. It could be something small. Something small. I had a friend named Robert Mueller. He was I think he was called the Assistant Secretary General to the United Nations. And one day, he walked every single day, and he noticed trash on the ground. And he said to himself, this particular place where I walk, it's going to be the cleanest place on the earth. So every day he was going to take a walk anyway. He carried a bag with gloves. And every single day he picked up all the litter on his way to wherever his destination was. And he did that in the name of peace on the planet. It can be something as small as that. Or it could be something that's more appropriate to whatever your gifts and talents are. Take the energy and use it to honor your sister and your dad so that there's a transmutation of the intense grieving into a sacred project. And from this higher state, bring compassion and patience to your mother, who's growing through this right now. That was her husband. That was her daughter. You can have patience and have compassion on what she may be going through and hold her high in your prayer life. Okay? That's what I have to offer today. And always, here at Agape, we have a prayer ministry. You can call 24 hours. Just go to agapelive.com. Look for the prayer ministry. Call that number. Someone can sit with you and pray for you and your family when you're stuck. Have a beautiful and bright day, Anne, and everyone else who is listening. God is blessing you. Receive it. Hey, thank you for joining me today. If you'd like to ask a question, please email me at podcast@michaelbeckwith.com. And you know what? Your question just might be featured. Have a beautiful and bright day.